Hey, ladies and gentlemen, this is Carmine Sabia for Explain America, and more disastrous news has hit vice presidential pick for Kamala Harris, Governor Tim Walz. Before we get started, please make sure you like, comment, share, and subscribe. Those little things really help us out, and they help our channel continue to grow. And guys, if you are not watching us on YouTube, make sure you go to the lower right-hand corner of this screen, look at that address, youtube.com/@explainamerica. Put it in your address bar, go over there, hit subscribe. It's absolutely free, and you're supporting conservative media. Tim Walz, you've been the vice presidential nominee for the Democrats for one day, and boy, have we found out so much about you. You got more skeletons, my friend, than the Museum of Natural History, and we're going to get all of them. We're going to let the people know everything about you, everything that was covered up in your little state that your media was able to cover up. No, now you got to deal with us. Now you got to deal with us on the national stage. This isn't Minnesota anymore, my friend. This is the national stage, and you're going to have to deal with me and Sean Hannity and Laura Ingraham and Jesse Waters and Greg Gutfeld and all kinds of people like us. And you're going to have to answer for things you did, for lies you've told. Oh, my friend, it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty, and it's going to be because you caused it. Because you presented a facade, a false impression of who you are to the people. You wanted to fool the people. We're here to inform the people, Tim, Governor. And so with that said, I want you to watch this expose on Tim Walz, what he really stands for, what he's really done, and who he really is. And then let me know what you think of him in the comments.
Vance of Ohio will join us. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis will join us. And then later, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas will be here. But let us begin with Governor Walz's crowning achievement, allowing entire neighborhoods and a police precinct in his own state to be burned straight to the ground during the riots in the summer of 2020. And he sat by and he did nothing, absolutely nothing, for days and days. J.D. Vance, he pointed this out today. Harris and Walz make an interesting duo for all the wrong reasons. Take a look.
To her credit, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz do make an interesting team, because if we remember the rioting in the summer of 2020, Tim Walz was the guy who let rioters burn down Minneapolis, and then Kamala Harris was the one who bailed the rioters out of jail. So there's an interesting team in that sense.
Great point. On the first night of the violent riots, Tim Walz, he did nothing. On the second night of the riots, the violent riots, what did he do? Nothing. On the third night, after a Target was ransacked, a police precinct was burned to the ground, Tim Walz did nothing. The left-wing mayor of Minneapolis was begging Governor Walz to send in the National Guard. Walz refused. It wasn't until night 5 that the governor finally decided to send in the Guard and restore order, but by then it was too late. Entire neighborhoods were burned to the ground. Blocks and blocks of businesses were totally looted. 3 Americans were dead. Governor Walz didn't care. He said that the people of Minnesota deserved this violence because of their lack of equity and inclusion. Can't make it up. You really can't. Take a look.
We saw large, peaceful protests focusing on the systemic changes that get to the heart of why we're in this situation. And when I say we, Minneapolis, St. Paul, the state of Minnesota, nationally, and as we've seen over the last 24 hours, internationally. A society that does not put equity and inclusion at the center of it is certainly going to eventually come to the places where we're at.
Oh, and it gets much worse from here. The First Lady of Minnesota, Gwen Walz, well, she basked in the riots, telling local media that she actually opened the windows in her home. Why? To smell the burning tires so that she could breathe in the historic moment. She went on to express her deep admiration for violent criminals, saying that they deserve unlimited chances to commit more crimes. Take a look.
I think it takes a lot of imagination and courage to move away from a system that punishes people and sets people up for failure, to a system that is restorative, right? That is equitable, that is healing. How many chances do you get? My answer to that is as many chances as you need, which doesn't really please those law and order people.
Vandalism, looting, pelting cops with bricks, rocks, bottles, Molotov cocktails, burning down police precincts, ransacking businesses. Many chances as you want. Apparently, Kamala Harris agrees, which is why she long promoted that Minnesota bail fund, which raised $40+ million that helped even the most violent criminals get out of jail and live among the population and commit more heinous crimes. Governor Walz even appointed employees from that very same bail fund to the state's, get this, sentencing